how you can control frustration and not let it control you. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're here, it's probably because you get frustrated, and don't worry, I get frustrated too. If you want to understand why you get frustrated, and if you want to learn to deal with frustration in a healthy and positive way, then this is the video for you. Keep on watching because we are starting right now. Now, first, we have to understand what frustration is. Frustration is basically a feeling that you get when you don't have the results that you were hoping for. When you get fewer results than what you were expecting, you get frustrated. Feeling frustrated is basically feeling powerless because you're in a situation that you can't control. Sometimes, however, frustration disguises itself with other emotions. For example, instead of feeling frustration, you could feel angry, irritable, stress, resentment, depression, disappointment. You can lose confidence in yourself. You tend to be very annoyed, and sometimes you even want to give up on what you're doing. All of these emotions are associated to frustration, and that is why it is so important to deal with frustration, because if you're able to have a positive response to frustration, then you're going to have a more positive response to all of these emotions and feelings that I've just mentioned. Now that we know precisely what frustration is, I'm going to keep on going, and we're going to start by explaining the sources of frustration. Why do we get frustrated, and what causes us to get frustrated? Frustration has two sources. On the one hand, you have internal sources, and on the other hand, you have external sources. Internal sources are sources that come from within you. For example, if you are a parent who wants to spend a lot of their time with their family, but on the other hand, you also own a business and you have to put a lot of your time into that business, you're stuck between taking care of your family and making your business work. And therefore, you have two competing goals, and that causes a lot of frustration. Likewise, we tend to imagine problems that actually frustrate us. For example, we tend to tell ourselves, I cannot do this, I cannot make my business work because I don't have the skills, I don't have the money, I don't have enough talent. The good news is, guys, that internal sources can be controlled. And I'm going to show you how you can deal with all of these problems and all of this frustration later on in the video. On the other hand, guys, we have external sources. External sources are life's obstacles. There are people out there are situations out there that we cannot control. And because we can't control these situations and we can't control these people and what they want and what they say, well, we get frustrated. If our phone dies, we get frustrated. We can't control external sources, but we can react to these external sources in different ways, and that's what we're going to talk about next. Before we talk about the different responses that people actually have when it comes to frustration, you must know that there are two types of people in this world. There are people with low frustration tolerance and people with high frustration tolerance. What's the difference between the two? If you give two children the exact same difficult math problem, one of them has low frustration tolerance, the other has high frustration tolerance. The first one with low frustration tolerance is going to get frustrated with this problem really quickly. The second one, on the other hand, is going to be working on that problem a lot longer before he actually gets frustrated. There's nothing we can really do about this. Some people get frustrated a lot faster than others. Nevertheless, I'm still going to show you how you can actually have a positive response to frustration. Think about these two children who are working on their math problem. Over time, as they are working, frustration is going to build up, and when frustration builds up to a level that is too great to be contained, it has to come out. That's where frustration can come out in a positive or a negative response. For most people, it's a negative response, meaning that it's a destructive response. Your phone doesn't work, some people will just take it and throw it away. Nowadays, a lot of people also tend to take their frustration out on somebody else. Have you ever gotten mad at somebody even though they didn't do anything wrong? Well, that's your frustration coming out on that person even though it has nothing to do with them. And that's really not what we're looking for. There are some people who actually manage to take their frustration and create a positive response. That is when they take their frustration and they use that to take action in a positive way. For example, your phone has died. It's dead, it's gone, you need to buy a new one. You can go ahead and buy that new phone, but instead of just throwing that one away and getting all frustrated because you just lost your phone and you lost all of your data, you could actually open up your phone and look inside and learn what are the components of a phone. What happened to your phone that made it die? Is it something that you did? Is it something that was out of your control? There are positive responses to every situation, but when you're in that negative frustrated mindset, it's really hard to find that positive aspect. That's basically what happens. You get frustrated, you have a response. You have to choose. Do you want to respond in a negative way, or do you want to respond in a positive way? If your frustration comes out in anger, do you want to use your anger and have an outburst on somebody who didn't deserve it? Or do you want to use your anger to be like, okay, I'm angry right now, I'm gonna go running because I need to run. And then you take positive action and you go running. And this positive action will better your life. If frustration actually causes you to feel extremely depressed, if you think that you are sinking into a depression, if you see yourself reaching for alcohol and drugs, if frustration causes eating or sleeping disorders, then I recommend you see a professional, because that can actually happen sometimes, but I am not qualified to help you with that. Get some help. That's the most important thing. And we're gonna move on to the last section. How can you actually deal with frustration, and how can you live your life with as little frustration as possible? Let's go. This is the part of the video that most of you guys have probably been waiting for. You want to know how you can control frustration, because here's the deal, guys. You'll never be able to get rid of all of your frustration, but you can learn to control it and deal with it in a positive way if you want to get rid of as much frustration as possible. You have to learn to be realistic with the outcomes of your project, with the results that you think you're gonna get out of something. You actually have to learn to distinguish between what you hope will happen, what will probably happen, and what actually happens. Every time you have a project in mind, take a paper and write down, I hope this will happen, I think this will probably happen, and then leave a blank space at the end to write down what actually happens. Because like I said at the beginning of this video, frustration is all about not getting the results that you were expected. So if you learn to be realistic with the results that you are expecting, then you won't feel that deception of not getting what you were expecting. The more realistic you are with your results and with your end product, the less likely you are to feel frustrated at the end of the road. Woo! That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you learned something, because I did all of this research for myself because I wanted to understand it, and I really wanted to share that with you guys because I feel like we can all learn a little something out of frustration. Like this video if it has helped you, and if you've learned something, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content, because right here we make dreams come true. Leave a comment, click the bell to be notified of future videos, and yeah, just keep enjoying life, keep working towards your goals, and soon enough they will become your reality. I thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time in another video. Bye guys!